Hello, welcome back. The little button says live. You got to kind of hit it twice. I learned that the hard way when telling the Cardinals to shut off their cell phone. So appreciate you bearing with us as we try out some of the tech here. So heading over, we're doing the AP cam at this point because the Vatican's coverage right now is doing the mill around St. Peter's thing. So I'm thinking with our, kindergarten Lion Cardinals, they might not be quite ready yet.
Yes, well, we do expect that everything will happen at the time that it's happening. But if you are just joining us, I'm just checking to make sure that it has opened a whole separate video, which is great, so that nothing that you did earlier today has been deleted. So good morning, everybody, from Pontifacts and Popular History HQ.
Yes, we have an HQ now.
We do. Well, we always have. We have the Conclave. That's what it's for.
That's true. That's true. Yes. And now you all get to enjoy an ad for Podbean, which, by the way, just to supplement this ad, we both use Podbean, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, and that's the end of that ad because the skip button popped up. Yes, so it was good to know this morning that I can hop around between tabs freely.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we have it's an interesting setup because St. Peter's isn't exactly filling with crowds because by definition the crowds are not allowed in for the actual conclave part. Mm-hmm. So that Missa pro elegendo Romano Pontifico, and which I might have declined some of those in the wrong way, but it's Latin. It's fine. From what I understand, that was actually a mass that was specific, not only to the papal, election, but it actually can be specifically used around the world. So from what I gather, it seems like priests, around the world would kind of, if they opted to, or they might even have been mandated to, I'm not sure, to use that form of the mass for today.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that tracks.
Is there anything you want to say about that mass? I don't know a whole lot of different forms of mass. So because I was learning this as we were going.
So really, if you're used to seeing a mass, you would be used to what you saw. It did not have any, specific unusual rituals, which was my prediction from the start of it. Because I was like, look, if there were, odd rituals in association with this mass for the election of a Roman pontiff, I, being the specific type of nerd I am, would have already heard about them. So it was the first time I'd actually watched that particular form of mass. But the real difference with it was, in the readings available. Because usually you've got, specific readings that are assigned. Like, you can go look up what the mass readings are going to be 10 years from now on any given day, right? So usually it's, if it's a funeral mass, then they'll have different options. And in this case, it's the different readings appropriate to an election, right? You don't have Jesus talking to the cardinals about who the Pope should be. But, it's usually more oblique with that. But we're used to that. That's kind of how the Mass takes the Gospels and applies them to the everyday whatever's going on around us normally. So there was, a homily. It was Cardinal Ray again.
Of course it was Cardinal Ray.
Yeah. No.
Cheers for Cardinal Ray.
Yay, Cardinal Ray.
Yeah.
This is the role he has to play today because he's not going to be allowed inside.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's because he's too old?
He is
Indeed.
91.
He's still young.
Which, by the way, maybe we should introduce. Hello, Roberto.
Yes,
thanks for joining us.
Hi. I'm just getting breakfast started. So
Same.
I want to know what we should name that gull on the just on the top right of the chimney cam there.
Dovius.
Ooh.
Or Gullius.
Yeah.
Gullius.
Jonas the Second.
Jonas.
Holy Spirit.
I feel like that's the Jeff of birds. I don't know why.
Because they are.
Yeah, because only the Jeff of birds would hang out next to the very important chimney and then be startled by it.
So it's the chimney that's right in the dead center there, right?
Yes.
Okay, because everything else is just electrical wire. Got it.
Correct. Now,
Yeah,
notably, this is a conversation we were having in the conclave this week, and on the history Discord as well. People being surprised that they had to install a chimney because no, there is not generally a chimney nor a stove in the Sistine Chapel. This is brought in special, which gives them, of course, a better sense of control and security, and it ensures that when they do try to put smoke out of it for the first time in 12 years, nothing is living inside or clogged or any of those things, which is good news. So that's a good starting point.
Just in case it makes white smoke instead.
The chimney cam is currently shaking, so I assume Godzilla is coming.
I mean,
no,
that would just make my whole day if there was also a Godzilla reference. So
it's Pizza Balla.
Pizza Balla is going to be inside the conclave. He's going to be busy voting.
He's dancing with his pizzas,
Pizza Balla is amusingly papably, and I still have to wonder, how much of that is a function of his name.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical. Also, I want to say good morning to Ash, who is watching, who has commented. If you are watching, comment, let us know where you are in the world, what you're doing this morning or afternoon or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And if you haven't adopted a cardinal, Greg, do you want to talk about Adopt a Cardinal?
Yes. So Adopt a Cardinal. So basically, with our Adopt a Cardinal program, you can get a cardinal of your very own. I think if I just throw this link here into the comments, you'll be able to see that and reference it. It seemed to work well earlier this morning when we were doing that mass. Okay. Yes, but if the cardinal that you adopt, just by commenting that cardinal's name in the comments of the live stream.
Yes, for sure. Okay, good morning from Maine from Andy. Lonesome Valkyrie says you're not watching the live on YouTube. Not sure if you realize it. I think this is the live.
So let me scope around because maybe there's another stream we should be watching. Because this is the Vatican News stream, and I would hope that they would cover it, but stranger things have happened.
Oh, Ash is in New South Wales, so it's just after midnight. So the complete opposite of the day spectrum to the rest of us.
They already know. It's already tomorrow, so I will make the Australia jokes. I apologize. I know they probably get old, but tell us, did we have a pope last night?
No.
I mean, it's a good question to ask. How likely do you two think it is that we will have an election on the first ballot? I know my answer.
I mean, it's more likely than the average day that we will see a new pope today. But most days are not conclave days.
Oh, Roberto is claiming Marengo. I don't think he's been taken yet.
Giorgio Marengo. All right. So that document, by the way, that I linked has 2 tabs. So one of them is the live stream times, which I'm still figuring this out, be adding in a couple for potential early smoke watch, because if they do elect a pope on the first ballot of a particular session, because usually they'll do 1 to 2 votes in the morning, 1 to 2 votes in the afternoon, that would be starting tomorrow.
Yes.
In case they elect a pope in that first ballot, I've got another time window to slot in for some of this smoke watch, just to make sure we don't miss it. Mm-hmm. But yes, so let's see.
Lonesome Valkyrie is from Ohio, by the way. So good morning, Ohio.
Excellent. Yes. Somehow I get a lot of Ohio listeners, probably because I'm from Ohio and my priest has been kind enough to promote this, and Catholics talk.
I can see for us the video that we are currently live streaming next to us is live. So let us know if you're not seeing it moving live still, because it's definitely happening. We're now seeing full St. Peter's.
I was gonna say there is some more action on one of the other streams. For example, EWTN. If you care to check that out, they're interviewing some sort of bishop. But the reality is, we're looking specifically for what the cardinals are up to. So I know in previous years there has been footage of the actual procession in. So that's what we're hoping to get today. So right now that's just sort of like a outside interview. And I think the AP or the Vatican. Yes. Okay. They're showing the same feed at this point.
Okay.
So
all right.
that should be the one that if anyone's going to get us into things,
Should
that
be
will
the
be the
Vatican
one.
News. Yes.
Yes. And it looks like Vatican News is just a scotch ahead of the Associated Press, which is fair because you'd think that the Associated Press would be piggybacking off of Vatican News because they are the official media outlet. At least, they're going to be the ones doing the streaming. Vatican Radio actually is it seems like it's their main deal, although I'm sure that's transitioning. That was one of the original radio towers.
We also have a beautiful view inside the Sistine Chapel right now, so they're not ready to kick everybody out yet.
That's a lot of naked men on the screen.
That is a lot of naked. Well, do you notice the cloths, Roberto? This is.
I was going to say, do you want to talk about the naked, or maybe not quite as naked as they could be, men?
Well, yes. Now that it's scrolled away, we'll do our best. But yes, it is true that the Sistine Chapel has very much had the fig leaf campaign and treatment over time, where they have painted in drapery and folded fabric in order to.
Sorry, I should have warned you, Roberto. I'm switching tabs.
That's okay. Fry's going to be joining us in a moment as well, and she will be able to actually stay longer than I will because I do have to go off to work in about 45 minutes. But for now, we get to be here and chat. One thing I would like to talk about while we're getting the feed going and whatnot is that yesterday was a day we normally focus on. Hello, Fry.
Hello.
You're here.
I am.
I was just going to say that yesterday was May 6th, and normally that is a day that would have its whole own special meaning and ceremony at the Vatican, because of course it is the swearing in of the Swiss Guard Day. But as we are currently without a pope, that has been postponed. So for the first time in many, many years, no Swiss Guards were sworn in yesterday. However, interestingly, the Swiss Guards, interestingly and hopefully, like this is a thing that we would all know and hope for, the Swiss Guard are one of the services that do not lapse, do not resign, do not stop working when the Pope dies. They just shift their obedience and loyalty to that of the Camerlengo. So currently, Cardinal Kevin Farrell is the absolute head of the Swiss Guard.
Who gave the American control of the Swiss Guard? Come on.
Well, he's actually Irish. He's actually Irish, but he was the Bishop of Dallas, so he gets with the Americans quite a bit. Carrie is saying hello from Ohio. So again, lots of Ohioans.
Hello from Ohio, indeed. Hello from Ohio over here.
Yes.
So, yes. I'm going to go ahead and turn on in a not aggressive way, hopefully, the audio from this feed that we have.
And since we're talking about the Swiss Guards, here they are on the screen in their beautiful uniform. I would also like to point out that this uniform was not designed by Michelangelo, as is popularly spread around. Originally, there was a uniform by the Swiss Guard that was very similar, but the uniforms you are seeing today were actually designed in the 1910s or maybe early 1920s by the Captain Jules Repond of the Swiss Guard. He was the one that brought the Swiss Guards back into military focus.
I was going to say they had like a rebellion or something I was reading this morning.
Yes, yes, they did. So after the end of the Italian Wars, leading into 1700s, 1800s sort of era, the Swiss Guard very much became less military and more ceremonial. And Jules Repond was the captain who changed all of that. He brought it back into military order, introduced military discipline through the early 1910s, 1920s. And this did not go over well for him. His men actually openly mutinied for a week in, I think, 1913. But it was his work and his reimagining of the uniform, inspired by Raphael, not designed by Michelangelo. He made the Swiss Guard what it is today, which is pretty cool. Look at all the pretty seats in the Sistine Chapel.
So it seems like we have an option here. Oh, and you can see their last names, right? So there's Fernandez Artime. Yes. Cardinal Pierre, I believe, got adopted with the Adopt a Cardinal program last night. So yes, if you
Excellent.
pull up that link and you're seeing the list of showtimes, it's just on the other tab.
This vessel that we're seeing right now, this is where the votes go.
Mhm.
They are put in there once
Look
they
at
are
all
collected.
them lambs.
I was gonna say, how about them
Of
lambs?
course. How you feel about those lambs? I was also going to inspire or to invoke you, Fry, as they were showing the central point of the Sistine Chapel, to have you talk about, the dead people on the floor.
I almost did. But no, I don't know if everybody's listened to that episode yet. I can't just go on about dead people on the floor.
I mean, you absolutely can.
Oh,
What would be
you
what would be
can and you
different?
should. If you lose context, first off, why would you want context for that? And secondly, you can always pause and go to the episode, because a lot of folks will be watching this, not necessarily live. And those live, they get treated to exclusive, fresh hot take dead people on the floor.
Now, look at this floor. This is a floor where if there was someone dead and their juices were leaking out, as you so poetically put it, you would hardly tell. There's
Yeah.
enough modeling on this floor.
They could also mop it up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, and they got that grate there for it.
Exactly. They know what they're about.
Are we about to see more cardinal lines? More
So-
poorly
Yes.
done cardinal lines?
Yes, so officially the processing in is set for 12 minutes from now. So I figured we'd start this stream a little bit early enough so that, if they're doing action before then. But no, it's kind of that prayerful reflection. We do have an option, because there is some audio commentary on the feed that we were on before I switched us back to this feed. But this one is just the visuals. So do we want to have a little bit of a commentary? I think we're doing commentary.
We're the commentary.
We are providing
We are
the
the
commentary
commentary.
at this
Yes.
stage. I mean, we
All
have
right, yeah.
lots
So
to
any
talk
feeds
about.
we can get you that do not have canned commentary, this way you get the full Pontifacts / Popular History experience.
That's right. That's right. Anything interesting happened this morning that you want to mention for those who didn't make it, Greg, to the first live?
Yeah, I mean, predominantly it was things that were interesting to me. If you've never checked out a mass, there's a great example, from this morning with, again, the 91-year-old celebrant who does not look or act 91. He's getting around pretty good. Cardinal Ray, the Cardinal Dean, so the head of the College of Cardinals, although he will not be the head of the most important constituents later today. And actually, really starting that sequestering here in a few minutes. So currently, these cardinals are, I believe, in the Pauline Chapel. There's sort of a hallway between, so they will process from where they are into the Sistine Chapel. So it will not surprise you that there are many chapels in the Vatican, even for as small as it is. I nearly walked around it one time, and then I realized that the neighborhood where you have to kind of make your way through is particularly rough.
Good morning, Marie from California, coming from Discord.
But yes, they have shut off cell phone service for this portion of the Vatican. St. Peter's Square still has it. Otherwise, the media would have had some issues. I guess they probably would have just satellited in stuff. But yeah, I'm sure the Vatican tech core is running their cell phone jammers, and I'm sure they've already started testing the anti-laser reading mechanisms.
Yes, definitely making sure the windows are not vibrating for lasers to read what's been talking about. Ooh, we've got a claimant in the chat, Greg. Andy wants Gretch or Gretch.
All right.
So
yes.
our list is we are adopting a lot of cardinals. I am glad to know that your daughter has claimed Cardinal Ray, because I feel like with all of the love we've been giving him, it would be very unfortunate if no one was looking out for Cardinal Ray at this point.
Yes. Do you want to know her logic?
Yes, I want to hear it.
So she did not know any other cardinal. Which is fair, but she knew Cardinal Ray real well because she watched our live stream.
She got up
early
in the very wee hours of the morning to watch us go, and there's Cardinal Ray, and there's Cardinal Ray. So I think that's absolutely valid.
Yeah,
yes.
I wanted to adopt Nicola, but someone took Nicola from me.
Oh. I love it. I know that my my claimed cardinal will not be the next pope.
Yes.
You
Although,
never know.
could you imagine?
Robin Hood as Pope?
Yes.
Yeah.
Krajewski as pope?
I am putting a maybe taken note next to a Cardinal Omela I Omela.
Oh, yes.
Because I seem to recall someone requested him, but I'm not seeing a name next to him.
I believe what it was that someone had claimed Cardinal Sin, and you said they were dead, so you offered them
another cardinal with a fun name.
Omela Umela.
Yes, so
Now,
we will
how
look
do
that
we
up. That's
think-
part of why the chat is the best way to do this. That way we can have our
Absolutely.
research.
Marie would like to claim the cardinal who hates Mango Mussolini, so that would be McElroy, I believe, is who we're referring to there.
I feel like that's more than one cardinal.
Yeah, exactly.
These cardinals were appointed by Pope Francis, and if there was one person that I would pick Pope Francis as actively hating, yes.
Yes. Actually, that is specifically why I believe Francis made him the Archbishop of DC specifically, because he was the one who was going to be there for the inauguration and the presidency, and he is a loud, outspoken critic of Trump.
And
as we are looking
being
at
put on his advisory councils, unlike some other cardinals. One other cardinal.
And maybe an excommunicated archbishop.
Oh, I'm sure.
And you said that was Cardinal Gregory?
Cardinal Gregory is the former Archbishop of DC.
Okay. And who's the current one?
Cardinal
McElroy.
Yes.
Cardinal
Or
McElroy.
McElroy, depending on pronunciation.
Well, so I think I might have spelled his name wrong at one point.
Oh, no.
McElroy.
Yes. Okay.
As we are looking at this,
oh my goodness! So if you Google him, the image is straight up the bishop from Princess Bride.
Yes, marriage.
They got the marriage bishop on there. Oh my goodness!
That's a choice.
That's what literally. I was like, I went to his Wikipedia page, and I'm like, marriage.
Someone has been having fun.
We're getting closer. We have 6 minutes until they're going to start proceeding inwards. Look at this door. It's just incredible.
I'm really enjoying it. Have there ever been to like Italy or anything, or seen the inside of the Sistine Chapel? I'm really enjoying all the artwork in there. I can see where you don't want a stove in there year round.
Yeah, a lot of really recognizable artwork is in these couple of rooms. I mean, the Vatican's pretty big on that in general, but
I mean, notably, what we should say about the Sistine Chapel is that it was constructed by Sixtus IV and decorated as we know it today by Pope Julius II and Michelangelo. Even Fry knows this one because we just recently did an episode on the agony and the ecstasy about the relationship.
We did. Oh my God, we watched that film.
We sure did.
Carlos was going to fall on that sword with me and watch it with me, and I was like, no.
And Marie's made a good point, and this is something that I always very much take away about my experience at the Sistine Chapel, is that it's very small. On camera, it looks massive. It looks magisterial. You look at the painting of the Last Judgment, and you look at the ceiling, and you get this sense of like scale and grandness and expansiveness, but it's actually very small. The first time that I stood in the Sistine Chapel, I actually found myself incredibly underwhelmed. And this was as somebody who was already like a deep Renaissance history nerd. So I had a tremendous appreciation for the art that was there and the history that was associated with it. But I remember walking in there and going, oh, is that it? Just because it's really quite... The way it captures on camera and film is a little bit different than actually being there. 135, 133 cardinal electors in there. It's going to be very full.
Yeah, extra ones. Did they have to put in extra seats? They did.
Have. Yes.
They
well,
had
the
to put
seats
in
come
more
and go.
Yeah, they had to put in more seats than they've ever had to put in before for this particular function, because this will be the
on that extra
largest
floor.
conclave in history. Yes, they added a whole new floor. I think
Yes.
someone must have put the instructions down wrong to figure out how to fit them all in. We're like, all right, we're gonna need a second floor on this. All right, second floor, got it. They put Jeff in charge. And that's how we got a floor that is 2 feet above the previous floor.
It's like when you're redoing your basement and you're like, I need it to drain if it gets wet.
Well, they do need it to drain because there might be dead
bodies.
I mean, speaking of dead body type language, is that technically called an urn, that container there? Or I'm trying to remember where the votes go.
Oh, there is a name for it, but I think it was something like really mundane, like receptacle.
Receptacle.
It looks like a disc that you can pick up and then throw.
It does. It definitely looks like some kind of frisbee device. Hello, Trocanero. Thanks for tuning in again. I am going to check because I know I have it in my notes what that thing's called, but I'm fairly certain it's just receptacle.
Yeah. We got like one dude standing. He's not a cardinal, so he doesn't have to do what the cardinals are doing. Okay, 2 dudes.
2 dudes
Marie
standing.
wants to claim the cardinal that hates Trump. Is that Dolan?
No, that's McElroy.
No, Dolan goes on Trump committee.
Hey, Umberto's here. Hello, good morning, Umberto. Dolan did come out and speak against Trump in the last couple of days.
Yes, which is interesting. Yes.
Referring to him as bruta figura, which is just so choice, so beautiful. And that was in relation to the AI photo that was shared of Pope Trump, which I refuse to address in any other context now. My official response will continue to be bruta figura. Nothing else. Bad image, super ugly. Get out of here.
Heresy. It is just heresy.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I know I said I wouldn't comment on this again, but literally the only qualifications you have to be a candidate for Pope is to be a baptized, unmarried Catholic male. The only one of that Trump actually hits is being male. So he's missing 3 out of the 4.
I don't know. Again, you could make a case if you got a person who was well versed in canon law and who happened to really want Trump to be Pope. I mean, I'm sorry, Cardinal Brooke. Sorry. You could make a case on several of these points because the church does recognize baptism done outside the Catholic Church specifically, as long as the formula is correct. Because you could have an atheist baptize people, for example.
That's fair. And Trocanero, he's not Catholic. He does not identify as Catholic and has not. Yeah, he's not even Catholic, which is just wild. That is interesting about the baptisms, though, because Mormons baptize.
So Mormon baptism, the Vatican has clarified, does not count because they're not Trinitarian. That's sort of the line that they draw. So it looks like we do have audio.
Dominus, ricorda nostra dirigit in caritate et patientia Christi, sit cum omnibus vobis.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Venerabiles fratres.
He's still looking good.
Sacris litaverimus.
Well, this is Paroline.
Conclave.
Well, this is Paroline. You're right.
Cardinal Ray is not welcome.
That's right. That's right.
Ecclesia Universa nobis
but yes, we can now confirm it is Cardinal Paroline and not whatever AI wanted us to think it was going to be. The AI that went with alphabetical order.
I did read during.
It tried to say Cardinal Ray first, and then Cardinal Sandri, and then gave up and went alphabetical.
Intercedentibus beata semper Virgine Maria.
I did read that every 3 days in the conclave they draw names lottery for who's actually going to assist the head of the conclave in the collecting of the votes. So they're doing a lottery pull for who's going to assist in the conclave for the first couple of days, and Tagle was one of the ones who was selected, so he will be assisting in the early steps of the conclave.
Oh. Interesting.
Yes. So there were others, but he was the most notable name. Here we go. Procession time.
Yeah. By the way, says that they claimed a cardinal under their Patreon email. So if one of you with access to that side of things could look that up and message that to me.
Hi, Ari. Good morning.
Actual
Okay,
procession
who was
time.
that? Ash. Did you claim it on the spreadsheet? Ooh, Nick's here too. Good morning, History of Inca.
Yeah.
I will say those crosses are heavier than you think.
Did they practice? I do think that the lines will be straighter this time, in
We're
part
gonna
because
see.
there's
They're not
less
showing
of a
us them
distance to
lines.
cover. They still managed to get some pretty good wiggle in their lines when they were en masse, and they were like, a
Oh, yeah,
3-foot
I
corridor
expect to
between
see
people.
this happening as they make their procession. Ash, you say you've claimed under your Patreon email. I'm going to check, but I'm not seeing any notifications.
If you know which
on
cardinal you
Patreon.
claimed, go ahead and list them in the chat, and that way we can be sure.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll look deeper into it if someone else has claimed them in the meantime, and make sure that if you've got that first claim.
They say they're already on the spreadsheet, so that is
all
good.
right. Oh, okay. Well, just making sure.
All right, maybe you guys could answer this. Why do some of them have lace work and the others don't?
There's just a couple of different options. They'll usually bring the vestments that they have, and then that's going to be their personal choice. They've got a little bit of leeway in how exactly they go about it. Some of them you'll see have effectively a lot of leeway because they are not Roman Catholic, right? If you see a cardinal dressed very differently from the others, that will generally be someone from one of the Eastern rites. So the global Catholic Church has 24. They're called sui juris churches, which means self-governing. 98% of the world's Catholics are that Roman or Latin Catholic, which is what you'll see with the majority of these cardinals. But there's a few that are from those Eastern churches, right? Syro-Malankar, the Ukrainian Greek, actually has one now. That's the youngest cardinal in the conclave. Baichuk, I believe. But yes, so they would dress according to their local tradition. So, for example, I believe that's a Coptic garb in the black there. So he is a cardinal. You see the red cardinal accents as sort of the some of the clue, but obviously there's other folks wearing red as well. And actually, it looks like I think that's Cardinal Radcliffe in the white there. He is a Dominican, and Dominican garb is traditionally white. But he is wearing, yes, the Western Beretta. So yes, that would be Cardinal Radcliffe. Interestingly, he is not a bishop. He is the only non-bishop among the cardinals at this stage, or at least among the cardinals participating in the conclave. Because when you're on the older end, they don't necessarily make you become a bishop, although often you do still, end up that way. But it's not required that you be a bishop to be a cardinal.
So we have some questions going on in chat as well, and can I say their lines are a little better? So this is nice to see. They've gotten themselves together.
Someone had to talk with them, because you see how they're like looking down and like making sure it's like, all right, don't just follow the person in front of you. Follow the person 5 people ahead of you to get those lines straighter.
Exactly. Ari would also like
they would have gotten
claim
that lesson decades earlier in their careers, but whatever, coming in clutch.
Ari would like to claim Cardinal Americo if he isn't taken, because they share a birthday, so we should make sure we get on that. Marie asks if the Coptic Christians would be considered one of the Eastern Church. I believe they are part of the Eastern Rite, but they are also their own specific, separate rite.
Yes, so the broad label of Eastern Catholic covers all the other 23 churches.
Yes.
Even ones that are not particularly, geographically, historically that far east. The Maronites, actually, wait. Yes, the Maronites are one of the rites, and they're the ones that, according to their traditions, have never been outside of union with Rome. All of the others, are kind of the results of a split and then a coming back for a portion of that tradition. But the Maronites have kind of developed in an interesting alternate trajectory.
Yes, they are Eastern, but not Eastern in that way. Umberto asks, what do you think the odds are of an Eastern Rite Catholic ever becoming Pope? I'd love to see that just for the vibes.
I would be 1,000% here for that. That would be amazing.
I'd say it'd be very low. Very low.
I would say
not
the likelihood is very low.
Schism.
Well, in this case, these cardinals are obviously, not considered in schism because they are participating fully in the sort of the deepest part of the life of the church at this stage. Yes. But yes, we should draw a distinction between the Orthodox, capital O Orthodox, which Roberto, by the way, welcome, and the Eastern Rite Catholics. So basically, you're Catholic, in the simplest definition, if you see the Pope as the head of the church in a, fully, functional way, like, he's the boss. Whereas the Orthodox, capital O perspective, if they think about the Pope, it's, that first among equals idea. And there is that sort of back and forth on that. Roberto, did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, no, I think I saw Father Mikolov probably, like, wearing his, like, Orthodox regalia, but I don't know who that was.
Yeah, well, if he looked young.
Yes.
Umberto's other question is the Coptic Church still Monophysite, or is it just Miaphysite? It is not Monophysite. It is considered Miaphysite.
So, yes, so theologically, they make it easy for folks to decide to sign on to the Catholic Church, right? The Catholic Church is happy to have more members, as you can tell from the fact that they have the 1.4 billion. But the reality is they do have certain, fundamental doctrinal expectations. And so they do have to make certain Christological statements. Basically, it works out to saying, at the end of the day, we'll listen to the Pope. And then they can kind of keep their traditions from there. And usually it's sort of well, we're not going to fight about this. But there are common Christological declarations, for example, signed, even with the Church of the East, for example, would be one of the more ancient splits. But through long programs of interreligious dialogue, especially after the Second Vatican Council, there have been efforts to kind of find that common ground enough to function as a unified church for anyone who wants to be under the Pope, right?
Okay, these lines are really good now, and they're actually filing into an orderly place into their seats.
Yeah, I mean, this is very much a sort of a you had one job, but it's like pointing to your life.
I assume they care more about the way that this is going to be televised than the funeral.
Yes.
I did see Pizzaballa in there.
And that's Cardinal Gregory there on the left bowing now.
Huh.
I saw Pizzaballa last night, and I blinked on his name and was like, I know that Cardinal. Which one is it?
You can't get
usually I've talked about them in audio.
You can't come to Pizzaballa.
Oh, the procession's almost done.
We are almost there. Who do we have in the back there?
I really should know, and I'm furiously Googling, because he's going to be the one doing the Exeunt Omnes. I'll bet.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they wait until everybody is seated, or if by the minute they pass the threshold, they turn around and cut us all off.
No, they're not going to interrupt the chant. So it'll be they'll sit down, settle for a moment, and then everybody out.
So
they will do the conclave oath after the Exeunt Omnes.
Marie is asking about the fuchsia cardinal. I assume we're referring to the one here in the back, in the covering. Is that Pharrell?
So there's a decent chance of that. Yes.
Yeah.
The ones that are in kind of that fuchsia, that sort of purplish, are going to typically be bishops, so not actually members of the college, but perhaps their aides.
The assistants, yes. No, the one there's a cardinal in the very back who's wearing a different shoulder covering.
Okay.
I suspect it's Pharrell.
That would
Emerlinga.
That would make sense. Yes. Yeah, sorry, I was on another tab.
History of Inca would like to take Mendonca.
Oh, yes.
Early.
I think he's from Lisbon, or Portugal, anyhow. Mendonça.
I don't think he's taken. Let's see. Nope. You can have him.
Yes. And I will catch back up on that spreadsheet, Timo.
Yes.
Yes. You understand.
Doing this live is always
That's
an
Francis
interesting
Leo, I
experience.
believe, by the way. The top.
Canada's
Toronto.
represented.
Yeah, Toronto has 2 cardinals in this conclave, which is very unusual for a city not named Rome to have that set up. And actually, I guess it would be unusual for Rome to have only 2.
We all know that when it comes to Canada, Toronto is the center of the world.
You mean it's not Vancouver?
God, no. We barely count. The election was called before our stations even closed.
Is that... It looks like the actual verbiage for part of the oath is like glued onto the page.
Yes. Must be present. We know how this goes. Just like the funeral. Have to have the book somewhere.
Yes. So it's interesting that we are getting camera inside the Sistine Chapel, because I think when I watched this previously, like, you know, they just kind of disappeared gradually behind the door. But Francis has certainly made an effort of, you know, opening up the visibility, which we definitely appreciate as literal Vatican watchers.
But I like this too because it's going to make the Ex und Omnes like far more dramatic, because they're going to pull all the cameras to the door. They're going to tell us to get out of here, and it'll be over. Turn around, camera. Show me who the man in fuchsia is. I have to assume they're entering essentially in reverse order of precedence here.
I would expect that, yes.
In order to have our front-seating cardinals, because we do know that they will vote in order of precedence as cardinals.
Oh,
and we do seem to be getting progressively older.
It will be Cardinal Rovelli, by the way, according to rules. Sorry, Archbishop Rovelli. Yes.
Archbishop Rovelli. It will be him for
the Extra Omnes.
Yes. Because he is, of course, the master of liturgical pontifical ceremonies.
Yes, that makes sense. I wonder if he is specifically not a cardinal in that role. I'll have to look into the history of that, because if that's a core function of that role, kicking people, you know, out and sort of being the one to close the doors, well, he's going to be outside the chapel at that point. So that might be an important part of that particular function, to not be a voting cardinal.
Umberto asked if the Bishop of the Moon is a cardinal or if the OPA is unrepresented in the conclave. I do not think that the Bishop of Orlando is a cardinal.
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's John Noonan.
No.
Let me see. He is not a cardinal. The moon is not being represented. And yes, if you're catching this on the flip side, the Bishop of Orlando has diocesan territory over the moon.
Yes, because going back to the old rules of sort of the you know, when the port that you sailed out from, right, would be the one that would sort of claim not only, you know, in a secular way, which went horribly, but also in a church sense. So that would be the head of the diocese. So yes, until a new diocese is erected, which I did have conversations in college about what like a liturgy would look like for the moon. It's usually like the antiphons, you'll call out something, you know, maybe local. So there's a few references to the moon in the Gospels. So
well, now I challenge you to write one. History of the Inca says, I don't gamble, but I do wonder if Las Vegas allows one to place bets on who the next pope is.
Yeah, I can tell you that there is betting going on.
Oh, there's definitely. We just saw betting things this morning.
Yep, it is absolutely happening.
It's 2 points between Parolin and Tagley, so.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like Parolin was like 25 and Tagley was 23, so.
Sportsbook review.
Marco shared that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know anything about gambling here, but
I mean,
yeah, Parolin is at the top of the sports books right now.
I am willing to share, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you know, I am not betting my Catholicism on the outcome of this conclave. You know, whoever's the Pope will be the Pope. It'll be fine. But at the end of the day, I am willing to share that I am genuinely excited about the prospect of all of the names I saw listed in the with double digits on that. So that is kind of reassuring.
I also feel very comforted by the news that's been coming out about the speeches in the general conclaves, or sorry, the general congregations of the cardinals, because they have had one every day and they announce what the topics of the speeches were. And seeing what has come out in that summary has me very hopeful for a pope who is representative of those views, of what they're talking about. So I'm feeling optimistic today. Hopefully those are not final words. We're almost there.
So that, in case you're wondering what they're chanting, I really should have looked up the name of the chant, but Te rogamos audinos is Lord, basically, Lord, we ask you to hear our prayer, right? So these are petitions calling down the Holy Spirit. If there's ever a time to call down the Holy Spirit, yes, we're there.
Absolutely.
The result of this conclave will have a significant impact on the world. I think it's fair to say, apart from potential nuclear considerations, probably more of a direct impact than any election, going on otherwise, just because of the longevity of the papacy and the influence, right? Not likely to start a war, which is good, but we'll see if there's, hopefully, as the cardinals appealed for peace, in a surprise release just within the last day or so, you managed to get, these 133 gentlemen who are going to certainly have their disagreements here today and in the coming days. They were able to apparently unite and put out sort of a one voice document calling for peace, in the Middle East and Ukraine, and I think, by implication, the larger area. The India and Pakistan situation had not kicked off at that point. This really feels like a finale. I mean, Bree, you're going to be talking Prophecy of St. Malachi, right? So here we're at the end of the world.
Very much so. Also, Carrie has pointed out that what they're singing is the Litany of the Saints, so that tracks. Yes. So they are invoking all of the saints to hear their prayer and intercede for them. Marie says, I wonder how long they had to practice the Litany of the Saints. This has got to be rote for the Cardinals.
But they also have the little booklets in front of them.
Yes.
The thing about it is, you're not going to be immune to brain freeze. There's a reason why having the book in front of you in any sort of ceremony is important, because the words are important. You could, invalidate things, right? And you don't want to invalidate a conclave.
Exactly.
But
although I will say that the official song of the conclave this time around is Ben's conclave time, because I have absolutely been walking around nonstop for the last 2 weeks going, I know I want to be the Pope.
I was going to ask if you could cue that up, but it looks like you already got it covered.
Well,
did the Cardinals get their copies of that?
We sent it, but they never responded to us. So,
and to answer Ari's question right before they get going, because we will have to stop and let them do their thing. Yes, there is a skeleton behind me. This is Formosus, and yes, he is wearing his Pope hat for the occasion.
He's got a jaunty mustache today.
He also has a Nosferatu mustache that he's been wearing since January when the movie came out.
Nice. Does he have the correct number of fingers?
Does he? No. I should really cut them off, shouldn't I?
You should, if it's supposed to be Formosus.
So, fortunately, with chants, it's easy to name them because the name is usually the first line. In this case, this chant is the Bene Creator Spiritus, or a Come Creator Spirit. Amazing. And this is the one that I was trying to think of the name of. I knew we weren't quite there, but this is fairly long-standing tradition of this particular chant opening the conclave. And I keep saying different things are opening the conclave. It's fuzzy, right? But we will have the doors closed soon. Cardinal Marengo there is the dark-haired gentleman right towards the bottom.
Okay. Go Exorcist Pope, Cardinal.
Yes.
Roberto has a vested interest in Cardinal Marengo because he chose him, and Krajewski.
I am so proud to see in the chat how many people really enjoyed conclave time, because yes,
Well, and actually, I meant he chose Cardinal Marengo to go into the next round of Cardinal numbers, but yes, you did choose Cardinal Marengo on Adopt a Cardinal as well.
Yes, because as I said,
Doubling
Cardinal
down.
Nicola was taken.
That's fair. That's fair.
Which, by the way, since we have a whole bunch of new viewers joining us since we started, if you've not adopted a cardinal and you would like to do so,
Yes.
you still have time. You can put your choices in the chat, and we will update the spreadsheet. Maybe it'd be a good idea to post the spreadsheet again.
Yep. I just dropped it back in the chat, so if you go there and you see a list of streaming times, first off, that's not going to hurt you. That will let you know when we're planning to be back in. Tomorrow we will probably have some supplemental sort of inserted in there, just to watch the chimney a little more, because there is the possibility that they may have early smoke, and if they do have early smoke, that will be white smoke in all likelihood. So that would be pretty exciting, and would hate to miss it.
I mean, I also have Ben's capability.
The live stream just running.
So with each of them, if you're referring to what you're seeing in front of each of them that looks like a red box, that is actually part of their hats, their headgear.
Their hats.
The votes go in the big silver dish that looks like a flying saucer that has the lambs on it at the front. Oh, we have a choir. We're gonna kick all these choir boys out after
yes. Yes, there will be a few non-voting people in the conclave, most likely. Historically, that's been a thing. For example, the former Archbishop of Washington before Gregory. Let me look this up. I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't want to get the name wrong. But he was a personal assistant to another further back predecessor.
Yes, Whirl, right?
Yes, Cardinal Whirl. And he was present in the conclave that elected John Paul II, not as a cardinal, but as a personal assistant priest secretary. Yes, because the then Archbishop of Washington was wheelchair bound at that stage.
So Blake has claimed Umbongo, so I have put that in the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Continuing to see the Cardinals.
Swiss Guard looks too warm.
Yes.
I mean, it is Rome.
May.
What is the weather in Rome today? Let's find out.
And Bongo Basungu, I believe,
it's a nice,
has
balmy 20 degrees Celsius.
And
yes, I apologize. And Bongo Basungu has been taken.
Has he?
So if you can choose another, yes. Yes.
Okay, he's not.
Yes. Oh, no. Never mind. If he was blank. Okay, I was seeing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you can update that spreadsheet. Awesome. Thank you for the assist.
I'm sorry, Tim, but Karl Marx has been taken by the communists.
Yes, I'll go ahead and put Marx down.
Arborelius has been claimed.
Arborelius has been taken.
Oh, I'm really looking for Marx.
Yes, Tim Lutton wants Cardinal Reinhard Marx. You got it? All right, you got it.
Yes.
And this is why the chat is the main one, that we've got a timestamp to kind of know who claimed first, and we can hopefully keep some vague order. But as you've seen, well, the Cardinals are improving their lines, so hopefully we can improve our lines as well. We are gradually getting smoother and learning how to do things. And there's the great Amen. So we'll give them a little bit of a moment.
I am burning myrrh.
Oremus, let us pray.
Ecclesiae tue Domine, rector et custos,
Hi,
infunde quesumus, famulis tuis spiritum
Better
intelligentiae,
pray so that I
veritatis
can
et
be here
pacis.
for Exeon Omnis.
Ut que tibi placita
I know, I was
Toto
debating
corde
warning you about the
cognoscam,
timing, but I figured you
et
had an
asta
eye on
tota
it.
virtutes
I am watching.
septemque.
At most, I could
Per
stay
Christum
another
Dominum
15
nostrum.
minutes,
Yes.
and then I will
So
fly out the door.
this Cardinal Clocher, I think that might be a reference to something else, but if that's intended to be the name of a cardinal, I do not see them on my list, so.
No, she's referring to the receptacle as the Cardinal Cloche.
Ah.
Okay. There we go.
nos omnes et singuli in hac electione summi pontificis versantes cardinales electores promittimus vovemus et iuramus
Greg, do you want to
inviolate
speak
et
about
unguem nos
the
esse fideliter et
vestment that goes down their
diligenter
back? Do you have any?
observaturus omnia,
I'm still
que
working on the papal
continentur
vestments.
in
or
constitutione
ecclesiastical
apostolica
vestments,
summi pontificis Ioannis
episode.
Pauli II, que
I'm trying
verbis
to
universi
catch
dominici
the Latin
gregis
here. Sorry.
incipit.
But yes, so they're
I'm
talking
back.
about Universi Dominici
Altero et
Gregis, which would be
mensis
the main
Februari anno
apostolic
millesimo
constitution that they're working
noncentasimo
from for governing the
nonagésimo
conclave.
sexto
So basically saying, hey, you guys have
servatis
read the rules,
quoque
be prepared
mutationibus
to,
inea millatis
swear in.
per litteras
Like I said,
apostolicas
the after
normas
swearing, from
non
what I
nullas
understand, will be
a
after
summo
the extra
pontifice
omnes.
Benedicto
Although if
decimo
it's not,
sesto
then
die altero
Roberto has agreed to
vigesimo
help
mensi
hold down the fort with
Februari
his deep, extensive
anno
knowledge of Vatican
bismillesimo
protocol.
decimo
As
tertio motu
not only does
proprio
Bree need to get out
datas.
here, but I have an appointment for my
Item
children as well.
promittimus
And
vovemus
take
et
priority.
iuramus,
Vice Pope Mrs. Book, their
quicunque
history.
nostrum Deo sic
She
disponente
has been
Romanus
extremely
Pontifex
supportive of
erit
my odd habits.
eum munus
From
Petrinum
when I would,
pastoris
keep her up
ecclesiae universae
shortly after I married on my laptop,
fideliter
just working on my Cardinals
executurum,
database to
esse
today.
atque
So thank you,
spirituale
Vice Pope Mary.
temporalia iura
Yes, thank you,
she-
Mary, for
libertatemque sancte
for giving Greg the
integre
reins to do this.
extrenue asserere
Thank you,
her only
Mary.
her only
tueri,
request that she be
nunquam
referred to as the Vice Pope.
destiturum.
She
Thank you,
is
Vice
the
Pope
Vice
Mary.
Pope.
Precipue
Yes.
autem
Vice Pope Mary.
promittimus et iuramus nos
And
religiosissime
unlike in many other vice
quod
situations,
punctus
the
sive
Vice Pope does not
clericos,
automatically
sive
become
laicos,
Pope. We do look into
secretum
that.
esse servaturus Deis omnibus, quae ad electionem
I can
Romani
personally
pontificis
verify that there are certain
quomodo
eligibility
libet
issues
pertinent. Et
on
Deis,
multiple fronts, actually,
quae
that
in
I'm
loco
involved with.
electionis
Enough about
abunti,
that.
Ah,
scrutinum
You threw a few Hail Marys for Mary,
rectores
guys.
neque idem secretum quoque modo
We want a clean and
violaturus
fast game.
sive perdurante novi pontificis electione sivi etiam post nisi expressa facultas habeodem pontifice tributa sit itemque nulli consensioni dissensioni alique quilibet intercessioni quibus auctoritates seculares quis libet ordinis et gradus vel quivis hominum cetus vel persone
Cardinal
singulae
Scherig
voluerint
is
sese
available. I will
pontificis
note that he is
electioni
over the age of
initiere
80. So,
auxilium
by all
vel
means, I'll add him
favorem
to the list, and
prestaturus.
I'll
I
put
do.
your name next to him. But if you did want to switch in light of that, Lonesome Valkyrie, you are welcome to switch just because he is going to be on the older end and therefore less likely to be elected. But by all means, he is a
That doesn't
cardinal.
mean he can't be elected.
Right.
Well, he certainly
Et ego
can.
Yes.
Petrus cardinalis parolin
Personally, I think if they do a cardinal over the age of 80, it would be
Spondeo
Cardinal Ray.
Acluro.
Although Scherig is not that
sic
much
Medeus
out of the range.
adjuvet
But the trick is he's
et
not in the
ex
room.
Santa Dei Evangelia que manu mea
It's hard to say. I'm not going to vote for any of you chuckleheads. Trying to censor myself a little bit.
It's YouTube. I think you can get away with
But
it.
yes, we definitely have the door cam going on.
Yeah. Oh! Did you catch the peeker?
No, there's always one. That guy.
All right.
Was it a
Is
kid?
this it? Are we doing it?
Are we shutting these doors?
Et
There's
ego
Just
no
take
children
back
in
the-
there.
Ferdinandus
That is
cardinalis
Tagle right behind him.
Philonis.
Yes,
Yep.
Tagle is stuck in that line.
Spondeo,
These are the men who will assist with the
sic Medeus
the,
adjuvet
conclave
Oh.
for the
et
first
ex
couple of
Santa
days.
So they are
Dei
doing the oath,
Evangelia.
and I wonder if they're doing it all together.
Yeah. So now we have to go through them all doing their oath.
Aloysius Antonius cardinalis Tagle.
Hey, this is great though because
They're
if you
going to
want
name
to see,
themselves.
they are going to name themselves.
Et ex Sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea
So we're going to see 135 of these people
He's
doing
got-
this?
Yeah.
It might just, they only got 4 or so in line, so we'll see if they keep lining up behind them, or if it might just
And they
be
just keep
principal-
coming up
Yeah.
into line.
Yeah, it might just be the principal coordinators for this stage.
Is that
Like, do things
Travis?
for everyone. I think so.
Yes, I think I heard that. Okay, Roche.
But yeah, it really looks like that on the left side there.
Et
taped
ego
on, which is
Luis
the music
Rafael
that's glued on.
cardinalis Sacco.
So why is he wearing black?
Because he is
Acuro,
right. That's
sic
Cardinal
me
Stockton
Deus
from Iraq.
adjuvet et
Okay.
He
hic
actually got chased
sancta
out of this country for a hot
evangelia
minute.
quae manum
Back in, not for the reasons that you might expect.
Ego,
Yeah, we're gonna have
et
all of
ego
them.
vinco cardinalis pulci.
This guy
Spondo
looks like John
veo
Candy.
Oh, he's the one that almost didn't make it. That's Vinco
Yeah.
Hic me Deus
That's
adjuvet.
Yeah, he
Et
was
hac
having a hard time,
sancta
but his
Dei
doctor ultimately cleared
evangelia
him. And I'm
quae
getting the call,
manum
so I've been summoned
mea
to
tango.
family affairs. So,
All right, Greg.
for my part, adieu.
Thank you for your
Bye, Greg.
service.
Et ego Petrus cardinalem cojo texan spondeo volvere ec euro sic me Deus adjuvet et hac sancta Dei
Is
evangelia
Papa
quae
Vile,
manum
Mr.
mea
Turkson?
tango.
Where's Turkson from again?
Ghana?
Et ego Iosep
The man who knows all this
Margitalis
information just left
Osanich
us.
spondeo
He's Ghanaian.
volvo
Ghanaian.
euro
Okay.
sic me Deus adjuvet et
All right.
hic sancta
In order to
Dei
see the hopefully see through, I'm going to stay for the extra 15 minutes before I have to run off for work, and then I will leave you in the capable hands of Roberto and Fry, who will
Et
see.
ego
Oh,
Philippus
goodness.
cardinalis barbaras spondeo voveo acuro sic me Deus adjuvet.
This guy
et
knows what
Joy
it's
over
about.
here.
He's
evangelia
Russian.
quae manum mea
Joy also
tango.
has opinions.
Go, Joy.
Ego Petrus cardinalis erde spondeo voveo
Erdo.
acuro sic me Deus adjuvet et hic sancta Dei evangelia quae manum mea tango.
They are all going up there. We will hear the oath of all 133
Et ego
electors.
Stanislaus cardinalis Reuco spondeo voveo
At least we're able to see
acuro
all their like
sic me Deus
outfits.
adjuvet
Yes.
et hic sancta Dei evangelia quae manum mea tango.
Someone hit the
Ortega
mic.
Josephus Franciscus Cardinalis Robles Ortega Espondio
Ortega?
Bovio
Cardinal
Acuro
Ortega.
sic me Deus adjuvet et ex sancta Dei evangelia per manum mea tango.
Et ego Daniel cardinalis
The great Kentuckian has said, what Conclave taught me this is voting for the Pope doesn't involve the Holy Spirit whatsoever, and it's more about politics than will be pushed to that will be pushed till death or resignation. That has always been true.
mea tango.
Et ego Odilo Petrus cardinalis Scherer spondeo voveo ac euro sic me Deus adjuvet.
What's great is for some of these cardinals, this will be the first time that they're using Latin in quite a while.
Et ego Robert cardinalis Sara spondeo.
Okay,
voveo
Sarah, if you can't get
acuro
through your oath, we're not electing you
sic me
Pope.
Deus adjuvet et hac sancta Dei evangelia quae manum mea tango.
He's a holdout for the arch conservatives.
Et
So.
ego Raimundus Leo cardinalis Burke spondeo vovio
Followed by
acuro
Burke.
sic
Is he
me Deus
another
adjuvet
arch
et
conservative,
sancta
or
He
et
is
hic
like the
sancta Dei
conservative
evangelia
of the
quae manum
conservatives.
mea tango.
oh dang.
Yeah.
Et
Those
ego
two.
Conradus cardinalis Koch spondeo vovio acuro sic me Deus adjuvet et hac sancta Dei evangelia quae manum mea tango.
At least they're moving fairly quickly.
Et ego Cardinalis Nitsch Casimirus spondeo voveo euro sic
Marie
me
wants to know if
Deus
you have an idea if
adjuvet
Pope Francis will receive a sainthood.
If he does, it won't be anytime soon. And I think there's good reason for this because Santo Subito is always sort of demanded of a pope when they pass. But even the controversy that has fallen with John Paul II after he has already been canonized, they have been really a lot more conservative about the idea of Santo Subito saint right away. So I think we won't see Francis become a saint right away. I think he certainly will be looked at in a few decades, perhaps, for that.
Oh, Marty.
Et ego João Brás cardinalis Diavis
spondeo foveo ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet et eco sancta evangelia quae manut mea tango.
Et
Looking at
ego
these.
Thomas Cardinalis Collins, spondeo vovio mercuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et hec sancta Dei evangelia,
Who
quae
are we
manu
at?
mea tango.
Greg, go pay attention to your appointment.
No, I pulled up the list in precedence. So
Cardinalis Eik.
Spondeo
vovio ac iuro.
he is Popeular as well.
Sic me Deus adjuvet.
They're moving fairly quickly.
Evangelie, quae manu
They are.
mea
They're scooting through
tango.
this. I mean, if we don't have long pauses again.
Et ego Joseph Cardinalis Bettori, spondeo vovio ac
Behind
iuro.
him is Cardinal Dolan
Deus
of New York,
adjuvet,
the
et ex
Bruta
sancta Dei
Figura.
Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
How Americans is going to sound.
Timothy Cardinalis Dolan.
Oh, very American.
Yes.
If
If anybody wants to follow along with the list that we are using, this is the list of the cardinals in
Et
order of
ego
precedence.
Raina Maria Cardinalis Völki, spondeo voveo ac iuro.
Völki.
Sic me Deus adjuvet, et hec sancta Dei evangelia.
If they are in red, they are over
mea
80 and are
tango.
not present in the conclave. So we are currently going up to number 104.
Ego Jacobis Cardinalis Harvey, spondeo roveo ac iuro. Sic me
Of the
Deus
United
adjuvet, et
States.
hec sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
And while they are doing this, and since I will have to run away in 7 minutes, I am going to quickly go take care of some things. I will be right back.
Right, bye.
Sic me Deus adjuvet.
Basileus Claimus.
Sancta Dei Evangelia.
He is the Cardinal of Trivandrum from India.
Et
The
ego
Syro-Malankara Church.
Gerardus Ludovicus Cardinalis Müller, spondeo vovio ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et hec sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Anytime.
Et ego Vincent Cardinalis Nicholas, spondeo foveo ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et hec sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea
Cardinal Vincent Nicholas of the UK.
Et ego Leopoldo José Cardinalis, Brenius Solórzano, spondeo vovio ex iuro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Brennus is from Nicaragua.
Et ego Gérald Cyprien, Cardinalis Lacroix, spondeo.
Cardinal Lacroix is from
Iuro.
Canada, Quebec.
Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Jean-Pierre Cardinalis Courtois, spondeo voveo ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Cardinal Courtois from the Ivory Coast.
Et ego Orani Ioannis Cardinalis Tempesta, spondeo vovio ac iuro.
Tempesta?
Yes, from Brazil.
Ex sancta
Okay.
Dei Evangelia, quae manu
Also
mea
considered
tango.
probable.
Et ego Mario Aurelio Cardinalis Poli,
Poli.
spondeo
Argentina.
vovio ac iuro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Philippus Cardinalis Vedraugo, spondeo voveo at iuro,
This is absolutely going to help Greg with his pronunciation in
et
the
ex
future.
sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
So he's from Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Et ego scibili cardinalis Langlois.
Langlois.
Spondeo voveo
From
Also
Haiti.
capable.
sic me Deus adjuvet et hec sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Question from the Great Kentuckian. Do they swear in through alphabetical order of last name, age of seniority, or as time spent as cardinal?
It's order of precedence. So time spent as cardinal.
Lego, my ego. This is Clemente from Portugal.
Et ego brana Iesus cardinalis Raphael spondeo voveo ac euro.
Yes, the ranks also play a role. Greg has a point. So if they are the head of a dicastery or anything of that nature, they will also jump up the precedent list.
So the Seraphios from Ethiopia.
Et ego John Cardinalis Jew spondeo vovio ac euro sic me Deus adjuvit et haec sancta Dei Evangelii qui manu
We also
mea
need to acknowledge that there are different roles of cardinals. We have cardinal bishops, then we have cardinal priests and cardinal deacons. So these are different roles within the church. I will certainly let Greg speak to that more because that's not the same as just being a priest, deacon, or bishop. But that also plays into precedence.
So previously it was John Dew from New Zealand, and this is Charles Mong from Myanmar.
Francis Xavier Cardinalis, Kring Sakowit Vanis Pondeo, Voleo ac Euro. Sic me
Also
Deus
considered
adjuvat
papable.
et hec sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
From Thailand.
Et ego Franciscus cardinalis
Cardinal
Montenegro,
Chito, as in
Spondeo
Tagle, he has
voveo
already
ac
sworn. He was
euro.
one of the earlier.
Sic me Deus adjuvet
His
et ex
precedence is
sancta
quite
Dei
high.
Evangelia.
Yeah, Tagley was like
quae manu
number
mea
3.
tango.
Second or third, yeah.
Et ego Daniel Cardinalis Sturla Veruet, Spondio
Uruguay?
Bovio ac euro.
Yep, and Montenegro was from
Sic me Deus
Italy.
adjuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Arlindo Cardinalis Gomis Furtado, Spondio Vovio ac Euro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
I agree with Ash. Listening to the different accents speak Latin is very interesting. It gives a richness to a dead language, which is very cool.
Right.
Cardinalis Maffi. Sponteo voveo ac euro.
So with Cardinal
Sic me
Maffi,
Deus
I have
adjuvet
to take off for the day
sancta
and get to work.
Evangelia
If
quae
there
manu
is
mea
smoke later, I will try and join from work or from my tattoo appointment. So that should be interesting.
That
But I
should
will
be
leave.
interesting.
For now, I will leave you in the capable hands of Roberto and Fry to take you through the rest of the Cardinals and the Exeunt Omnis, which is the kicking everybody else out, which I'm so sad that I will not get to see, but I will be listening to it from my car. So thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the live stream, and we will see you later when there is much more to cover.
Bye, Ray.
Bye.
I am glad you have this list handled because I have a sinus infection and I cannot parse it.
So the Roche is from Brazil. I'm just going to go through and name all these people.
Yeah, you do that. It's great. Like, what bad timing for this sinus infection?
Et ego Blasius Cardinalis Supich, Spondeo
Supich is from the U.S. of
Vovio,
Chicago.
Sic me Deus adjuvet, et hic sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
So, like, Great Kentucky, they can all be candidates for Pope. It's just that they can't be. They just can't vote for Pope if they're 8 or older, but they can still be
they
Pope.
can't go in the conclave and vote, but they can be made.
Et ego Carlos Cardinalis Aguiarretes.
So the previous one was De Castle from Belgium, and this is Aguiar Retes from Mexico.
Deus adjuvet et ex Santa Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Oh, I have the floof. The angry floof is mine.
Spondeo voveo ac euro, sic me Deus adivuet et ac Santa Dei Evangelia qua manu mea tango.
I think that was John Ribat from Papua New Guinea.
Et ego Josephus Cardinalis Tobin, spondio vovio racuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Cardinal Tobin from the U.S. from Newark.
Et ego Joseph. Johannes Josephus Cardinalis Omelia, spondeo boveo ac juro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
So for Omelia from Spain.
Et ego Andres Cardinalis Arborelius,
Sweden.
Spondio vovio acuro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Angelus Cardinalis de Donatis, spondeo voveo ac iuro, sic me Deus audiuet, et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
The Donatis is from Italy.
Et ego Joseph Cardinalis Coots, spondeo voveo ac iuro.
From Pakistan.
Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Antonius Cardinalis dos Santos Marto, spondeo voveo ac iuro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
From Portugal. That's...
Et ego Desiri Cardinalis Sarahazal, spondeo voveo ad iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
So Salahazana is from Madagascar, and I was thinking about adopting him because he has Tsar in his name, but I chose Marengo.
Ego Joseph Cardinalis Petrocchi, spondeo voveo ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Italia.
Et ego Thomas Aquino Cardinalis Maeda, spondeo boveo ac iuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
So Cardinal Maeda is from Japan, and the next one's from Indonesia. I'm not even trying to say his name.
He'll say his name for you.
Yep, exactly.
Ignatius Cardinalis Suario.
Oh, I just realized that they have like a bigger version pasted into that book next to the smaller version.
Et ex sancta Dei Evangelia,
can't see it.
que manu mea tango.
Et ego Ioannes a Caritate Cardinalis Garcia,
hey, Cuba!
Ovio ad juro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
He sounded very Cuban.
Et ego Fridolinus Cardinalis Ambongo, spondeo vovio ad
You can always go for a Cuban sandwich, Marie.
sic me Deus
I don't think I've ever
adjuvet
had a Cuban
et
sandwich.
hac sancta
I'll make you
Dei
one next time I'm in Chicago.
Okay.
All
right. Deal.
Which actually should be in a few months, or sooner, actually.
Et ego Ioannes Claudius, Cardinalis Hollerich, Spondeo Vove.
Oh, so the previous one was from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is one's from Luxembourg.
I really love the
Álvaro
big type.
Cardinalis
Just
Ramazzini.
read this.
Spondeo.
Oh my God, yes.
Voveo adjuro. Sic me Deus
We're nearing the
adjuvet,
end if nobody else
et
gets
ex
up.
Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
I think this one's from Guatemala.
They're doing their
Et
little
ego
prayer.
Matteus Maria
Oh,
Cardinalis
here's some more.
Zuppi, Spondeo Voveo
Zuppi!
adjuro.
Zuppi is not
Sic me
last. There's
Deus
still a whole
adjuvet, et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
But yeah, they're doing this before they lock the doors on us.
Et ego Cristobal
And then we'll just sit here and
Cardinalis
stare at a
Lopez
chimney.
Romero, Spondeo Voveo adjuro.
So this is
Sic me Deus
from
adjuvet,
Morocco.
et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Antonius Cardinalis Cambanda, Spondeo
That guy
Voveo.
behind him looks like he's having a rough time standing there.
Sic me
Yeah.
Deus adjuvet, hex sancta
This guy's from
Dei
Rwanda.
Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
So the next guy's from the U.S. He's the Archbishop Emeritus of Washington, Cardinal
Et ego
Gregory.
Wilton Daniel Cardinalis Gregory, Spondeo Voveo adjuro. Sic me Deus
That's an accent
adjuvet,
for some Latin.
et
Oh, yeah.
sancta Dei Evangelia, que
Look like me
manu
rolling
mea
up. I'm going to use my
tango.
Midwest accent and I'm going to read this Latin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to read some Latin.
Josephus Puerte Cardinalis Advincula,
From the
Spondeo
Philippines.
Voveo Acuro, Sic me Deus
So they're reading from the
big
left of the
side.
book.
Ex Sancta Dei
Yeah.
The big one.
Evangelia,
The
que
like
manu mea
pasted in
tango.
large version.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
it's
they're
easier for-
reading.
Et ego Augustus Paulus
The large type
Cardinalis lo Iudice.
for their old
These are-
man eyes.
Voveo adjuro.
Yeah, this guy's from Italy, but yeah, big side.
Ex Santa Dei Evangelia. que
I am
manu mea
Wilton
tango.
Daniel Cardinal Gregory.
Et ego Ioannes Marcus, Cardinalis Avelin, Spondeo
France.
Voveo Acuro, Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Peter Ebere Cardinalis Abaleke,
From
Spondeo
Nigeria.
Voveo Acuro. Sic me Deus adjuvet, et hex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu Deo tango.
So this one's from Brazil.
Et ego Leonardus Udalricus Cardinalis Steiner,
Oh, they're lining up
Spondio
some more.
Vovio
Here they come.
Acadiuro, Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Philippus Neri,
India.
Cardinalis Ferrau.
And yes, it is
Spondeo
interesting to see
Voveo
them use the Latin
Acuro.
versions of the names. I think it's just
Sic
keeping
me
in practice
Deus
with
adjuvet, et ex
going with
Sancta Dei
the
Evangelia,
left side. But I think Greg
que
can comment on that a
manu
bit
mea
more
tango.
Yeah.
since he's still in the chat.
Bad. No, go there.
He's still in
Greg.
just comment.
Ego
So.
Bertus Cardinalis McElroy,
Oh,
Spondeo Voveo,
Robert McElroy from the U.S., current Archbishop of Washington.
Deus adjuvet.
Someone adopted him for the Mango Mussolini comment.
Yeah.
Que manu mea tango.
Et ego Virgilius Cardinalis do Carmo da Silva, Spondeo Voveo
East Timor.
Acuro. Sic me Deus audivet, et hac Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Oh man, there's still such a long list to go.
Ego
There's 135.
Ascarius Cardinalis Cantoni,
Like
Spondeo
13 more than we're
Voveo
supposed to have or
Acuro,
something.
True.
Sic me Deus
Antoni's from
adjuvet,
Italy.
et ex Sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea
33.
tango.
Et ego Pula Cardinalis Anthony Spondeo Boveo ac Euro.
He may have reversed it by
Sic me
accident.
Deus adiuit et ac sancta Dei Evangelia
From India.
Manu mea tango.
Et ego Paulus Cesar Cardinalis Costa
from Brazil.
Spondeo Voveo at Euro sic me Deus adjuvet et ex santa Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego William Cardinalis co spondeo
Would you hate to be
Boveo
like the
ac
first one and then
Euro
have to wait,
sic
or would
me
you hate
Deus
being like the
adjuvet
last
et
one
ac
and
santa
having to
Dei
wait, or would you
Evangelia
hate being in the
que
middle?
manu mea tango.
I would rather be done than so first is to get it done and I can just sit down and relax. Versus like, oh, did I make it? So the previous guy was from Singapore. This one's from Paraguay. No,
They're
Ari, they're
going-
going by order of presidents.
Order of how long they've been a cardinal, right?
Yes, and then like the ranking of the seats.
And then the ranking.
Tego Georgius Cardinalis Marengo.
Hey, Cardinal Marengo, my guy. So
Deus
he's
adjuvet
prefect of
Dei
Ulaanbaatar.
Evangelia que manu mea tango.
And everyone's favorite.
Pizza balla.
Spondeo Boveo ac Euro.
From Jerusalem.
Sic me Deus adjuvet
Pizza dance,
et sancta
man.
Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Pizza balla.
Et ego Stephen Cardinalis Brislin
from South Africa.
Vovio adiugoro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta.
No, Marengo's not Mongolian, but he's
Manu mea tango.
presiding over Mongolia. So I'm just saying they're from this place, so that's just where they're at.
Et ego Angelus Sixtus.
Yeah, where they're currently stationed.
Yeah, where they're stationed.
Pondio Bovio
So
ac Euro.
Rossi is from Argentina.
Sic me Deus adjuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego Aloisio Joseph Cardinalis Rueda Aparicio.
From Colombia.
Boveo ac Euro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et ex santa Dei Evangelia.
Ari, I highly
que
doubt
manu
there's going
mea
to be two
tango.
Argentinian popes back to back, honestly, though.
Et ego Gregorius Cardinalis Risch, Spondeo Voveo.
From Poland, he's the Archbishop of
Sic
Łódź.
me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego Mula Stephen Cardinalis Stephen Martin Mula.
Oh no, he messed up.
From
South Sudan.
Doing his best.
Sic me Deu
I mean, reading a language you don't use is hard.
Dei Evangelia.
I'm sure they've been
Mani
they had
mea
to take
tango.
Latin classes ish.
True.
But like, if you lose it if you don't use it.
Et ego Joseph Cardinalis.
Exactly, especially after Vatican II, where you could just kind of
Spondeo
Yeah.
master your
Whatever.
language.
Sic me
Yeah.
Deus adjuvet et ex
So,
santa Dei Evangelia.
Cobocano is from
que
Spain.
manu
Okay, I do
mea
like that
tango.
name. Cobocano.
Et ego Protasius
You're doing pretty good in
Cardinalis
this line here.
Rugambua.
This
Yeah.
line is very
Spondeo
straight.
Voveo
Yes,
ac
so
Euro.
Rugambua is from
Sic me
Tanzania.
Deus adjuvet
God, that man's
et
resting
haec
face
sancta
is
Dei
very angry.
Evangelia
Uh-huh.
que manu mea tango.
Wait, which one?
The one who's coming up now, him.
Oh my god, yeah. From
Et ego
Malaysia.
Sebastian Cardinalis Francis Spondeo.
I'm sure he's not angry at
Voveo
all, but
ac
oh
Euro.
no.
His resting old man face.
Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
I should probably check my work emails.
Et ego Stephen Cardinalis Chao, Spondeo Poveo ac Euro.
So he's from
Sigme
Hong
Deus
Kong
adjove
slash
et ac
China.
sancta Dei
I feel like
Evangelia.
these cardinals have been here.
Remando
They
mea
didn't just get
tango.
here like last night. They've been here a couple days, right?
Yeah, because they had to come
been
in for the
jet lagged.
funeral and all that, so they're used to it now.
Yeah,
Spondeo vovio ad
maybe at the funeral they were jet
Sigme
lagged.
Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia.
This one's from France.
Manu mea tango.
Oh, I don't know what they're saying. I think they're just taking their oath right now.
Yeah, I think they're doing their. They're gonna be good cardinals,
Spondeo vovio ac
Mhm.
juro.
and we're gonna vote good.
Sigme Deus adjuvet et
So this is Americo
sancta Dei
Aguiar from
Evangelia,
Portugal.
que manu mea tango.
Et ego, Carlos Cardinalis Castillo, Spondeo, Boveo, Adjuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Santa de Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
So I think this is Matasoglio from Peru. This one's
Et ego Vicente Cardinalis Vocalis Spondio Bovio Acuro.
so he's from Argentina.
Deus adjuvet et que sancta de Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego Luis Gerardo Cardinalis Cabrera, Spondio Boveo
From Ecuador.
Juro. Sigme Deus adjuvet et ex Santa Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Fernando Cardenali Chomalí, Espondeo
Filling out the
Boveo
line again.
Acuro, Sigme
Yeah.
The line
Deus
got too
adjuvet et
small,
ex
and now
Sancta
it needs
Dei
to be filled out
Evangelia,
again.
que manu mea tango.
So this one's from Chile. You can tell that he's used to reading in Latin.
Yeah, it came out much smoother.
Spondeo,
Yeah.
Boveo, Acuro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex Sancta
This is from
Dei
Japan.
Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Paulus Virgilius Cardinalis David
From the Philippines.
Boveo ac Juro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego Ladislav Cardinalis Nemet.
From
Spondio
Serbia.
Voveo ac juro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango. Et ego Jacobus Cardinalis Spengler, Spondio Vovio ac juro.
Spengler's from Brazil.
Me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia que manu mea tango.
Et ego Ignatius Cardinalis Besidogo, Spondeo Voveo et ac juro.
From the Ivory Coast.
Deus adjuvet et ec sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Cardinalis Johannes Paulus. Et ego Johannes Paulus Cardinalis Esco. Spondeo.
From Algeria.
The pause in the middle where he was, oh, no, I have
And then the stumble. It was just kind of like, oh no.
Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Oh, Ash, I love tasting history. I've been watching the videos like nonstop.
Et ego Dominicus Josephus Cardinalis Mathieu, Spondeo
So this one's from
Voveo
Iran.
ac juro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et haec sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Robertus Cardinalis Repole, Spondeo
Hey, Roberto Repole
Boveo
from
ac
Italy.
juro. Sic me Deus adjuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Baldassare Cardinalis Reina, Spondeo Voveo.
Also from Italy.
Sic me Deus adjuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelii, que manu mea tango.
Et ego Franciscus Cardinalis Leo,
Of Toronto, Canada.
Sic me Deus adjuvet
So
et ex sancta
that is
Dei
Father Cardinal
que manu
Mikola
mea
Pichok
tango.
from Australia, who's a Ukrainian Greek Eastern Rite cardinal.
Et ego Micola Cardinalis Bichoc spondeo voveo ac euro. Sigme Deus adiuvet et hex sancta de Evangelia.
We still have like 30 more to go.
Remanum mea tango.
Well, that means we went through like 100.
Yeah.
So we're doing great.
Oh yeah, we're doing great.
Dominicus
Trucking right along.
Cardinalis Battaglia, spondeo
Also from Italy.
voveo ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet, et ex sancta Dei Evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Dominicus Cardinalis Mamberti,
From France.
spondeo voveo ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet, et ex sancta Evangelia.
Bree might not be able to
Dei
see her
Evangelia,
pick, but I
quae
think
manu
she's
mea
listening in
tango.
her car.
Yeah.
Et ego Marius Cardinalis Zenari
Also from
spondeo
Italy.
vobio ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
So here we have the Camerlengo coming up now. Cardinal Farrell himself.
Et ego Kevin Cardinalis Farrell spondeo voveo et ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia qua manu mea tango.
All right, Krajewski.
Et ego Conradus Cardinalis Krajewski.
Everyone touching that same spot of the book. Imagine if one of them had a cold.
Adiuvet et hex sancta Dei Evangelia.
Well, you know, Poland. Yeah, if he's getting sick from like church stuff. That's a thing.
Josephus
It is.
Florentinus Cardinalis de Mendonça.
All right,
from Portugal.
Roberto, I'm leaving you in the capable hands of Roberto for a minute because my dog needs to go out.
No worries. I will not provide any fun commentary because I know nothing about any of this stuff.
You're doing great.
Ego Felix Cardinalis Cerni, spondeo voveo ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet et hic sancta Dei Evangelii quae manu mea tango.
I forgot who this is. Oh well.
Et ego Marius Cardinalis Grec.
Malta represent. He's from Malta. The previous one's from Canada.
Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Marcellus Cardinalis Semeraro.
So Semeraro is from Italia.
Sic me Deus adiuvet.
Oh, that next guy is tall.
Quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Maurus Cardinalis Gambetti.
Or was it just a camera angle? The Gambetti is from Italia.
Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Arturus Cardinalis Roche.
I can't tell where his accent's from. Obviously, Arthur Roach from the UK.
Et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Latero Cardinalis Yuhung-shik.
Yuhung-shik is from South Korea.
Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Okay, now we're nearing the end of the list here.
Et ego Claudius Cardinalis Gugerotti.
Gugerotti is from Italia.
Voveo ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia.
See, Ash, Father Mikola is my favorite, but that's just because of my interest, so it's like closer to them than anything.
Et ego Victor Emmanuel Cardinalis Fernandez.
Fernandez is from Argentina.
Voveo ac euro. Sic me Deus adiuvet et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Alrighty, next up we have Scherig. Whoever adopted him, that's your guy.
Emilio
He's from Switzerland.
Spondeo voveo eiu ac euro.
Alright, it's like the Pope was Argentinian.
Et ex sancta Dei Evangelia quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Christophorus Cardinalis Pierre spondeo voveo at euro.
Cardinal Pierre is from France.
Deus adiuvet
et ex sancta Dei evangelia, quae manu mea tengo.
Oh, I see the end of the list here now.
Et ego, Angelus Cardinalis Fernandez Artime,
Artemis from Spain.
Boveo ac juro. Sigme Deus adjuvet, et ex santa Dei evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Rolandus Cardinalis Makritskas.
So Makritskas is from Lithuania.
Sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Et ego Timotheus Cardinalis Radcliffe.
Radcliffe is from the UK.
Ac euro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancte Dei evangelii, quae manu meo tango.
Et ego Fabius Cardinalis Baggio Spondeo.
I mean, Ari, one of them is going to graduate to become Pope.
Adjuvet, et ex sancte Dei evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
So this is Baggio from Italia. And last one is Kuvakad from India.
Cardinalis Kuvakad, spondeo vove ac euro, sic me Deus adjuvet, et ex sancta Dei evangelia, quae manu mea tango.
Alrighty, and that is, the oaths are done. Something's going to happen next. Well, yeah, and there's like a bunch of cardinals from Italy, because that's also the main spot of the church too, I guess.
Extra omnes.
And now the doors are closing and we are being kicked out. And then we're going to go down to Smoke Watch. I still think Father Mikola has the best outfit. All right, place your bets. Who's going to be the next pope? My vote is Brie. Yeah, you do need the laser pointers for the windows to see the vibrations, to see who they're picking. So we can find out a bit early before they tell us who it is. Bye, Ash. And Marie, I think the political swing will probably swing a bit more liberal just due to all the things. And I'm also not the person to talk about this stuff with. But it's just based off of my conversations with the Pontifacts and Popular History crew that it may swing a bit more liberal just due to, like, you know, Pope Francis filling in 80% of the cardinals, and also just how things are going on in the world and kind of like the reaction to all that.
Just in time to see the last person leave or whatever.
Yes, the doors, the doors. You know, it's just like watching Conclave where they have the shots on the doors the whole time.
Yeah, it really is.
I guess we are watching Conclave. All right, bye. Nobody's in anymore. Bye.
Goodbye.
It was nice seeing you guys. Boosh.
Wow,
Push.
those are loud doors.
Now you gotta know it's gotta be loud so you know it's shut.
So you know it's final. It'd be really funny if there was just someone in the back like, oh no, I forgot I had to leave.
That'd be great. I think they made sure of that before they closed it, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it'd still be funny.
Just some guy like opens the door quietly and peeks out and zooms. It's like, yo.
Nick, I do not think we can get past the Swiss guards. Those halberds are kind of pointy.
They're very pointy. Good for zombies.
All right, Skywatch, let's go. Now we pan down to a sun right in our eyes, which we can finally look straight at, and then we see the Sistine Chapel.
A
and a whole
J.J.
bunch of
Abrams
people.
shot.
Right? Let's blind the cameraman, why don't we? Brazil fans represent.
That woman's in like a jacket. Oh, I guess it's raining, right?
Yeah, it's rainy and like 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's more of like a poncho.
Yeah, people are waving, frantically, like, "Oh, we're on camera! Look at me! Look at me!" we get to see some statues.
Statues. We've been rating these on Greg's podcast, or at least we recorded some of that.
I like these statues. They're nice statues.
They're great. Yeah, Bree and I have been looking at them and doing our Facium Sanctus for them.
Oh, that's fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
Just write some statues, write something that's meant to, be aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike some of those papal pictures. So we see some more artwork that's
circular friends.
Yes, handing over stuff. I think one of them is Jesus, giving the keys to Peter, I think. I don't know. This is an Orthodox man trying to guess the meaning of all these things.
All our statues, yeah. Yeah.
Right? We don't have statues in Orthodox churches. Sarah, I think I would not be frustrated if I was like, oh, I got tickets to the Sistine Chapel. Like, can I get a refund at least if I can't go in? But it's like, oh, Conclave is happening. Probably one of the most important events in someone's life.
Yeah.
Or at least
how
1.4 billion people.
Tickets? Because they knew this was happening like a week ago.
I think some people buy them in advance, but it's also...
Yeah, but how in advance?
I also wouldn't want to plan a trip to Rome in the middle of a conclave.
Well, it's Jubilee, so a lot of people are going to Rome just cause.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. People are vacuuming outside my apartment.
We have road work going outside, so I get it.
Oh, we have tuck pointing also happening. And
what's that?
So they're fixing the brick on a bunch of the buildings.
Okay. We see a nice bell there. I would love to ring that bell. Just go bang, 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 bang. There's a nice clock on top of it, too. Okay, so it kind of annoys me that all the words aren't in a line up, so it's hard to read some of them. I'm like,
They've done a great job. That is not a lay tits now situation.
I mean, I could also just look up a picture of the Sistine Chapel and what it says. It's just Googling is so hard. Especially when I should be doing other things. But, this is fun.
I should also be doing work, which is consequently sending emails to bands about playing at a pizza place. So,
But can you get Pizza Balla to go?
Can I get Pizza Balla to go to the pizza place? Maybe.
That'd be great. You can dance at the pizzas while the music's playing. Yeah, I have to reach out to, because I'm a admissions counselor, so I have to reach out to a bunch of students and be like, hey, are you coming to this college? And for them to tell me no, so I can stop messaging them finally.
Ooh, this Samsung update has got me in my feels. I do
Oh my
not
god,
like it.
I hate it so much. The Samsung update is the absolute worst because like now I have to drag different sides of my screen to like.
Everything's aesthetically ugly. Oh goodness.
Oh my god, it is so bad. I'm like, it's almost close enough to be like, I may think I may want an iPhone, but I just paid off my phone this month. Like, how dare they do this to me? Like, I want to be able to just drag one side down and get everything I need. I don't need two sides of my phone to tell me like, oh, one side is notifications, one side is this, and now like, it doesn't do like the nice, pretty notification bar on my lock screen.
Yeah,
to tell
no,
me,
I can't. I have to go 2 places for my notifications now, and a
I'm like,
sin.
that's like that removes the point of notifications. Is
Yeah.
like no, I need to know what's happening.
I need to go to the actual app now. I can't just like look at them.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. So
I was looking on Reddit when my phone started to update, and it looks like you can kind of change it back, so it's not quite a pain. But
I did, but
oh
like,
my goodness,
it is still it's a pain to get to that setting. Oh my gosh, it's just rough. So I see. Oh, I'm gonna mess this up because that could be Colombia or Venezuela, and I'm gonna mess them up always. I'm gonna guess that's Venezuela's flag right there. The other one I can't tell. The goals. The goals.
Greg says we can stop whenever. When's our next? When's our next one? We'll be back.
The next one, the next Conclave time live stream will be. This one's between. I had this one from 9 to 11 East Central Time. Oh, it's almost 11. Hey. The next one is at noon for us, Fry.
Okay, so we got like an hour break. I guess we're gonna call it and come back in an hour.
I will not be here. You'll have another Birdo. You'll have Umberto.
Yeah, we'll have Umberto. Oh,
So,
well, 3 hours.
Well, you know,
Noon.
if I didn't have work meetings at that time, I'd still join. But it'd be fun to just kind of talk with an Italian. But you have an Italian, guys.
Breeze
Yes, noon
says
Central.
about 3 hours.
So 3 hours from now, which would be, it's almost 11, 2 p.m.?
2 p.m. Central, yeah.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Central. So just wait for the live stream. Put notifications on your YouTube so you can get all the Pontifacts updates on YouTube. And that way you'll be able to like keep up with everything that's going on. Thank you guys for joining us and hearing me list off where Cardinals are from and mispronouncing their names.
You did great. And I suppose like this might be up for a minute because Greg is not at his computer, but we will not be here.
Yep, we are leaving. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining. Stay on the live stream. So YouTube's like, people are still watching this if you want. But it's going to be this.
But all right. Goodbye, everybody, for now.
Bye.
Okay. The Pontifacts Master of Ceremonies is back in the house, so I am the one to do the extra omnes. Seeing no further questions in the chat, just remember you can adopt a cardinal. If the cardinal you pick has already been chosen by someone else, that's fine. You can adopt another cardinal. It's not like you have a set number of chances. There is a document in the chat. I'll go ahead and drop it one more time, and then we will have our own little extra omnes moment, and then I will close the feed until the next scheduled stream, which tonight is going to be a little under 3 hours from now. The document in the comments there, that link is going to take you to a sheet that has both the streaming times, especially now that we're into the smoke watch section. So, watching for that white smoke for the indicating the election of a pope, or the black smoke saying no pope yet. That will be starting tonight. Rome time, it starts at 7. Eastern time, 1. If you're on sort of like the West Coast end of North America, we're looking at 10 a.m. And wherever else you are in the world, we will be joined by Umberto of So You Think You Can Rule Persia. If there is white smoke, we'll do probably 3 hours worth of a show then, or however long it takes to get all the good stuff. And otherwise it'll probably be maybe like an hour. Basically, once we see smoke, we'll probably wrap it up. Not too long after that, assuming it's black smoke, of course. But yes, so smoke watch in a few hours. And everyone get some rest. Did I put the time on? Oh, yeah. You know what? That's in less than an hour. My bad. Okay. Well, I'll see you guys soon, because they are currently, working on that first ballot. So they do up to 4 ballots in a day, except for the first day, they just do typically one kind of trial ballot. So if you want to hang out, well, I guess you can't really hang out, because I am going to go ahead and close the feed. Yeah, I'm going to close the feed for now, so I'm not tempted to follow in on it, because I got to get some household stuff done. So yes, thank you all. The 2 tabs on that document are the times for the live streams, and then there's another tab there for the Adopt a Cardinals. That way you can see who's taken. So thank you all so much. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.